First thing I want to do is give a shout out. Johnny Boy 2002. I want to give him a shout out first thing. Because he clued me in on this information first. Yeah. All right. So here is the rundown of the trailer. All right. This is exactly what you get. Okay. 44 years ago, the face of fear was born. Classic footage from John Carpenter's Halloween. This is the flashback stuff, probably showing, young Laurie Strode, maybe the closet scene, something like that. A murder montage shows the victims of Michael Myers on Halloween night, 78 and 2018. Which is kind of weird because I was thinking after all said and done, you got 78 and then these three movies that take place in the present day. I almost wish that Halloween 2, and guys, do you agree with me on this? And just ignore the sibling angle, okay? But I really wish that Halloween 2 was part of this canon. I mean, they even used footage from Halloween 2 in Halloween Kills. So, thinking back, I'm wondering if they thought that, like, damn, we should, but, you can't because of the whole, unless there was this big twist that came out that he actually wasn't, he wasn't her brother, Maybe the files got mixed up, something like that. So, I think they could have worked around that. It would have been cool, though. So, anyway, pressing forward, another voiceover by Jamie Lee Curtis. Every scream, every scare, every, what does that say? Sash? That doesn't say. Does that say sash? Guys, what am I missing here? Hold on. Slash. Okay, every slash. I had something in the way of the L. Okay. Every scream, every scare, every slash has led to this. In new footage, Laurie breathes heavily as she hides in a dark closet, hearkening back to, the closet scene in 78. These movies are full of, like, I guess, trigger points from other movies, especially 78, Okay. Wait, let me read that again. In new footage, Laurie breathes heavily as she hides in a dark closet. Okay. Michael Myers stalks a kitchen with a knife. So you picture it, Myers just walking around the kitchen with a knife. Is he looking for Laurie? So that would tell me, if he is looking for Laurie, that there was already a confrontation beforehand. Because one thing that we've realized throughout 2018 in Kills is that Laurie was never the target. She even states it. Or no, Hawkins actually states it in Kills, okay? So, this is like in my mind, this is like the middle of something, okay? Let's press forward. Laurie lunges at Michael and slashes at him. It's a brutal fight, They're going, you're already picturing that scene at the end of Halloween 2018. Where I think there were mannequins in the room, and then they're fighting. You're already picturing that scene. Okay. Michael grabs Laurie's hair, slams her face first into a glass cabinet. Laurie grips her knife and stabs it into Michael's hand. So it's almost like Star Wars, There's always like some kind of freaking hand impalement in these movies now. Like he had his fingers cut off in 2018. So the trailer ends with Michael on the table. Laurie stands over her prey with a butcher knife. Title: Halloween Ends. So that scene where Laurie's standing over Myers, it's kind of reminiscent of like H2O, I guess, at the end when he's laying on the table and she's like standing over him. Okay, so I'm perplexed because they're pulling a bait and switch. All right, I'm calling it right now. I know a lot of you guys are scared that this is final act stuff, and it could be final act stuff, but I don't think it is. I think this could be the opening of the movie. Like, so there's a couple of you guys, and I'm gonna give you a shout out right here, okay? Hold on. So, Brad Baker, he said, that description sounds like a dream sequence. Very excited to see this. Brad Baker. And Brad might be right. And the reason he might be right is because Laurie is holding the knife over Myers. And that kind of sounds like what they would do right before a cut of the end of a dream. Am I right on that, guys? Doesn't that seem like Laurie's holding the knife up, and then as soon as it goes down, boom, she wakes up. So I think there's a possibility that that could be a dream sequence. And then we got another one over here. Austin Crease. Austin Crease, he says, and let me preface it. I said, guys, regarding the kitchen fight scene shown at Cinemacon, keep in mind this could be a small piece to a much larger puzzle. Okay? Ends looks to be very different film than the previous two. I'll reserve my judgment. And so Austin said, maybe it's before the time jump, and this is how Michael gets captured again. And Austin, that's actually a pretty cool observation because you might be right. You might be right. This might be the opening of the movie. You know, we might not have jumped 4 years into the future yet. This might be how Myers gets caught. And so and logically, this makes the most sense instead of having to have Myers like a hermit living in a freaking barn, you know, for 4 years. It makes more sense for him to be in, you know, locked up. And, you know, Myers, when he's locked up, if he doesn't have like a mission, if there's not a trigger, then like he did for 40 years, he's just, you know, he's just there. He's vacant. He doesn't really care about anything. So then there's got to be something 4 years later to trigger him again, you know? So I think that sets the plate for some interesting stuff to happen 4 years later, you know? We'll see. I'll reserve my judgment, but I don't think this is final act stuff. Also, why in the fuck would you put your final act stuff at Cinemacon? You know, why would you do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this is a trilogy of the David Gordon Green trilogy. Okay, I know there's 4 movies, but let's just say a trilogy for the sake of saying it. This is a trilogy. This is the last movie. You know, they got to have some kind of like ace in the hole here. They got to have some kind of ending. Like Jamie Lee Curtis herself said, this is going to piss a lot of people off. And I take what Jamie Lee Curtis says with a grain of salt, but Nick Castle went further and stated that nobody's going to expect this ending. Now, Nick Castle could be doing what Jamie Lee Curtis is doing. He could be hyping this movie up to get your butt in the seat. He could be doing that, okay? But I think we will be surprised by this movie. I really do. You know, David Gordon Green isn't going to just write a third movie and make it cliche and pretty much the same slasher by the numbers. If anything, as much as a lot of people hate Halloween Kills, you got to admit that at least they tried something different and maybe they went a little overboard with it. But I think we know, what do we know? We know that Halloween Ends is going to be intimate. He stated that before, okay? It's going to be smaller in scale. It's going to be much more personal. So personal could mean something to do with Allison or Laurie triggers Myers into coming back. You know, there's so many different ways you can look at this. So I think they did this on purpose. I think they showed us that little scene. They didn't want to give us any. Let's show them the most typical, predictable footage. Granted, exciting. You know, the reports out of Cinemacon were that was some crazy. That was some violent ass shit. Like, out of all the reports out of Cinemacon on the Twitter, I never read one that says this looks like it's going to be horrible. You know? There might be something like that on Twitter now, but I haven't seen any. Everybody said this looks like it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, but I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is final act stuff? I don't. I think they know what they're doing. You know? If anything, it has me even more curious. I think they don't want to tell us anything. I'm really curious to see what the trailer is going to be come June or July timeframe, because that's not gonna that might be in the trailer, like a moment of that might be in the trailer, but I think the trailer is going to be very different. Personally, they could not show a single thing, and I would be fine with that. I would be fine. Like, would you guys be fine with just going into this movie not knowing nothing? You know, because let's face it, if they put a trailer out there, we're probably gonna watch it, right, guys? Most of us are. But I wouldn't be mad if they didn't. Okay, I wouldn't be mad if they didn't. It would just be that much more exciting, and that's part of the reason why I think I'm really excited about this movie, is because unlike Halloween Kills, I still don't know anything. You know, even like outside of that footage that they just gave us, which is not surprising. Of course there's going to be a fight. Is there going to be a fight between Myers and Laurie in this movie, in the third movie of a trilogy, with the lead star being Laurie Strode and Michael Myers? Of course there's going to be some kind of showdown. So let's give them something that they already know is going to be in there. They know exactly what they're doing, you know?